Join us each Saturday for the Justice is Here podcast, an innovative, revolutionary podcast that speaks to justice for all party members across America. We'll speak to leadership, we'll speak to activists, and most of all, we want to hear your opinion. So if you're tired of the two-party system and how it doesn't work for you, tune into this podcast to learn how we can take back the justice that we deserve. Thank you. Join us each Saturday for the Justice is Here podcast, an innovative, revolutionary podcast that speaks to justice for all party members across America. We'll speak to leadership, we'll speak to activists, and most of all, we want to hear your opinion. So if you're tired of the two-party system and how it doesn't work for you, tune into this podcast to learn how we can take back the justice that we deserve. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello. This is the 34th episode. No, it's the 33rd episode of the Justice is Here podcast. First of all, let me apologize for yesterday. I thought I went to my cousin's 20th anniversary renewal ceremony. I thought it was next week, so I wasn't going to do a show next week. But when I called her for the address, she said, "No, it's today." So I went. It was a really lovely ceremony, but I really thought it was going to be next week that I was not going to be doing a show. I will be doing a show next week, and then I'm putting off the Saturday show that I was going to do. That's going to be the 7th, and then we'll have Justice is Here on the next day. So apologize for the Tracy should have wrote down what day it was and not had did a show. Well, I didn't end up doing a show yesterday, but I'm here. So we have a special Sunday edition for everybody out in the land. And we're going to start off with visit the Justice for All Party website at justiceforall.us, justiceforall.us. One more time for good measure, justiceforall.us. Hit that subscribe button. I am up to 386. We can still make it to 1,000. We can still do it. We just need, I don't know, my math is terrible, but whatever 1,000 minus 386 is, we need all of you all to like or subscribe, hit that, smash that, obliterate that subscribe button. 1,000 is still the goal. A friendly reminder to donate to the Justice for All Party. Our goal, according to the website, is to raise $1 million. We're nowhere near that. We use our funds to continue the work of the Justice for All Party. Your donation will go for us meeting that goal. Any size donation is always helpful. And as always, we do not answer to big business, yes, PACs or any of those things. So you are our boss. And I got one more here, and I'm trying to bring it up before I put it on the screen. So I'm going to keep that website up just a tad bit longer because I want to bring up this website first before I get to my next announcement. I should have had this up here before, but oh well. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I'm almost there. Okay, so let me go to my other screen here. Well, this changed. Okay, so there are 200 and 19 days until our assembly/convention at the lovely Junto Hotel in Columbus, Ohio. We are also trying to raise and to get volunteers to participate in our fundraising campaign. We will have 3 lovely days of raising funds. We will have it November the 14th at 8 o'clock p.m., November the 15th at 8 o'clock p.m., and we need volunteers to sign up. That Friday, we will be doing 80s trivia. And that Saturday, we will be doing a virtual scavenger hunt. So far, we have 0 volunteers. So that's why I'm leaving this up. So you can go to that page, sign up to be a volunteer, help us to raise the $100,000 that we're trying to raise. We want as many people as possible to go. I'm going to keep that up just a second longer because, as I said, we are very, 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 very much in the need of volunteers to be on one of those shows, or if you want to be on both, that it will be great. So we're going to have fun, and then we will end it on the 16th. Dr. Cornell West will be our guest to end that whole weekend. So please, the deadline is the 10th to sign up, and it's only 8 days to go. So if you're interested in being participating in one of those 2 days for fundraising, please sign up. Thank you. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm living and breathing, and that's always a good thing.
Yep, it always is. So because football is still on, I wasn't going to do this. Y'all know I'm still not going to do this. Let me say something here. Everybody knows my team is the San Francisco 49ers. That's my team. They should have won by more than what they won by. But we did win because last week when we lost, I'm like, are you kidding me? We lost to, oh, shoot, who did we lose to last week? Oh, Tim, help me out. Who did we lose to last week?
I do not know, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
It wasn't Jacksonville. The Houston Texans. All we had to do was show up. Like literally, why we have so much trouble with the AFC South? Like we can't. It's like no AFC South team we can beat. Can't beat the Colts. Can't beat the Texans. Can't beat the Titans. Can't beat the Jaguars. Why? You know you're better than them. Why? But we won today. And let me also say this: I cannot stand the Kansas City Chiefs. Whoever plays the Chiefs, I'm going to cheer for that team. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the Cowboys, who I also can't stand. But if it was them and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I'm gonna be cheering for Dallas. Let me tell you how much I can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs. When Philadelphia beat them in the Super Bowl, oh, I was screaming. I was screaming my head off. I was like, thank you. I cannot stand that dorky looking, yes, I called him dorky looking Patrick Mahomes. I cannot. I will not. No. Like it's deep in my soul. I had to get that off. Okay.
For what it's worth.
Hello, Nelson.
I've got on a throwback jersey for the Acme Packers, the Green Bay Packers original name, when it was a company-owned team before it became a community-based organization.
And you notice the NFL doesn't allow that anymore.
What's that?
The Green Bay Packers are the only team that's owned by the public.
That's correct.
No other team is allowed to do that.
That's correct.
They cut that real quick.
It's the reason you'll never see a team in a community as small as Green Bay that's able to keep a professional sports franchise, because owners would not put one there, but a solid community will keep one there. Back in the 70s, I want to say, and into the 80s, when they were losing, they actually moved, I want to say, 3 of their seasonal home games down to County Stadium in Milwaukee. But just around the time they turned things around with Don Mikowski or so, they ended the games down in Milwaukee and moved them all back to Green Bay and have been doing great ever since.
And they are only one of a few teams that still plays in its original stadium.
I'd be surprised that they're not the only one.
No, it's the Green Bay Packers still playing Lambeau Field.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Bears still play in Soldier Field.
Okay.
I can't name any other team because everybody's got new stadiums now.
That sounds
I'm so old. I remember when the Colts played in the Hoosier Dome. I remember when it was built and we didn't even have a football team. We're like, why are we building this stadium? Little did I know that Jim Irsay, or was it Jim Irsay's father? I think it was Father Irsay, not Son Irsay.
Mm-hmm.
We're sneaking the team in, and in March 1984, I was 10 years old. I will never forget when the news broke that we had a football team.
And you had all those moving trucks from the Mayflower moving.
The Mayflower snuck them in. I'm like, y'all, see, like the minor cold, y'all don't remember. I remember, and I was still a 49er fan, so I'm like, well, nothing's gonna change for me. But I remember that. I mean, that like broke the news. Like, we had a team. They played in Hoosier Dome. Then they changed it to the RCA Dome, and the RCA people got mad because we kept calling it the Hoosier Dome. And then, of course, they tore it down and built gigantoid Lucas. Lucas Oil is like the biggest field I have ever seen. Oh my gosh, that field is humongous. I'm like it's super big. And so, so Chicago and Green Bay, because the Steelers, no, they tore down Three Rivers Stadium.
They did. They're in a different stadium. I read about it recently when the Packers were out there playing.
Yep, and then Buffalo is about to not play in their stadium anymore. They're building a new one.
I want to say that they already switched stadiums. I don't think they're in their original stadium. And yeah, they're getting ready for a new one.
Yeah, because the city of Buffalo gave up all that money so they could stay there. And of course, the Giants and the Jets, they share a stadium.
Yep.
And so do the Chargers, who I refuse. I will not call them the Los Angeles Chargers. I will not refer to the Raiders as the Las Vegas Raiders. I will not. You are the Oakland Raiders. That's who you will always be. I don't care. You don't have to like it. You will always be the Oakland Raiders to me. Now, I will call the Rams the LA Rams because they started off in Los Angeles, right? And then they moved to St. Louis. And then they moved back to LA. So I'm good with calling them the LA Rams. I'm like, okay, I'm good. But I'm so old. I remember when Seattle was in the AFC. I remember when the Seattle Seahawks were in the AFC.
Remember before the Rams went to St. Louis, when the Cardinals used to be in St. Louis before they went to Arizona.
They sure were. People like, I'm like, yeah, y'all got some things we know. And I'm still trying to think of who else is. I think the Falcons still play in their old stadium.
How about the Tennessee Titans, who were the Tennessee Oilers, who were
they were the Houston Oilers. They were the Houston
Oilers. Then they went to Tennessee, and they were the Tennessee Oilers, and then they became the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans, right? And then a couple years after that, they got the Houston Texans because for a while, when the Houston Oilers moved to Tennessee, Dallas was the only team that was in the state of Texas. So they figured, okay, the state of Texas has got to have two teams.
I have a really strange situation. I apologize, but I have someone at my door. So give me a moment and please continue.
Yep. And so now I'm going to talk. So today's topic, and I'm going to give everybody a heads up, we will talk about justice for all things here. But because, again, it's Sunday, I'm like, okay, I'm watching football and got to talk about that. But we will be talking about this topic for the next couple of weeks, unless I can get some people to agree to be on this show. We will be talking about the convention. We'll talk about it, of course. The Jets and Giants share a stadium in New Jersey because they don't want to build a stadium for them in New York. I thought that says because New Jersey had more room. Thank you for that education, because I thought for sure they built it because oh, I can't see that. Let me take that away. But I thought it was because they just didn't have enough room. Like, what borough would they build it in? But I never thought about that. I'm trying to really think about, because San Francisco used to play at Candlestick. Of course, now they play at Levi Stadium. Broke my heart. Man, when Candlestick came down, I'm telling you what, I shed a many a tear because the baseball team played there. I forget what the baseball team is called. So I don't really know, because I don't really follow baseball like that. Let me see. I'm trying to see, is Buffalo going to get this first down? Let's see.
They are.
Oh, yes, they are. Okay. So I was saying that we are going to be mostly talking about the convention. And that is because I can't get guests on. Now, I'm saying this, usually I don't talk about my frustration, but y'all know Tracy don't beg nobody. And I'm glad to not talk about the convention. So you know who this message is for. If you're watching this and you're saying, how come you talk about the convention? That's because your sorry baton won't come on the show. Blah, blah. I said what I said. I'll stand by what I said. Anyway, we're also going to talk about something that's going to happen Tuesday. Now, neither one of us live in the city of New York.
But I used to for 20 years.
You did for 20 years. I have been wanting us to talk about the Mandami effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people, I'll tell you what I think after you say what you think. But what do you think about his chance? Because I don't have any skin in the game. I don't live anywhere near the city of New York.
I see it constantly in my social media feed because so many years in New York, I've had various friends, family, colleagues that are in the area that are watching what's going on. My first thing is I had a very big laugh when Mayor Eric Adams dropped out of the Democratic primary and then dropped out of the race altogether. I think that's entirely appropriate, being as he's an incredibly corrupt individual.
Absolutely.
To the point where, and he's corrupt because he was up on federal charges and he got dropped or pardoned or whatever the case may be by our current president, which is only done for people who are 100% guilty of whatever it is that they've been accused. That's the only people that Trump seems to pardon. So that's a good laugh. Secondly, Andrew Cuomo is renowned or infamous for killing numerous grandparents throughout COVID in the nursing homes in New York State, while he was governor of New York State. That wasn't enough to get him out of office, however. He was booted out of, or stepped down, out of New York State gubernatorial office after being accused by 13 women of sexual assaults or inappropriate sexual behavior anyway. So he's an absolute horrible person for doing those things, both with the seniors dying and the sexual assaults. Then the Republican nominee is actually someone who's known. If people remember, New York City back in the 70s, early 80s, used to have a lot of muggings and that type of thing that it was known for. And a white guy from Staten Island formed a vigilante group that used to wear basically white t-shirts and red berets called the Guardian Angels. And they acted as a vigilante group. So if you were in a subway where people were problematic, you might actually like the guardian angels. However, if everybody was minding their business and the guardian angels came on and just wanted to be racist, you might dislike the guardian angels. The amusing thing is how Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo, both got together to try to tell Curtis Sliwa, the guardian angels guy, to drop out of the race so that it would be a one-on-one race between Andrew Cuomo, who lost badly in the Democratic primary, and Zoran Mamdani. It appears that a landslide mayoral victory is going to come for Zoran Mamdani. He is a Democratic DSA, Democratic Socialists of America member who ran for mayor in the Democratic primary and won. And suddenly the Democratic Party stopped saying vote blue no matter who.
Didn't they know? All of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, y'all the ones. Just like y'all was the one, but y'all was the, let me stop interrupting you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, but that's the one that just tripped me out. I'm like, y'all for real.
It's hilarious because now you have the people who are asking the Republican to drop out, who are saying you need to vote for us because we're real Democrats with a big D. And the only thing you can figure out is, okay, so you got some little D people who are about to lose, and they're the ones who no longer believe in vote blue no matter who, because a non-fascist Democrat seems to be leading the way.
And yeah, I got a whole lot more thoughts than you do, because see, you being a little bit too nice for me. I got several problems with DSA. Let me just say my problems with DSA. If they were their own political party that was separated from the Democratic Party, I probably would be a part of it because of what they generally believe. My problem with DSA is they're in a party that supports genocide. I can't get that out of my mind. The Democratic Party supports genocide. When you run under DSA, you're running as a Democrat. Yes, you got socialist tagged to the end of your name, but you're when it shows up on the ticket, they got that D. They don't have DSA, they got just the D. They don't have the S and the A, they just got the D. So to me, it's like if they were their own party that stood on socialism more, I'm in. But the fact that you just gonna run as a Democrat, the Democrats not gonna do any of that stuff. They're not for rent control. They're not. I mean, I'm not saying Zoran Mamdani isn't for what he said he is, but the party isn't. My thing is, why run in a party where they're against the ideas that you're talking about? That's my first point. Second point. Go ahead.
Let me say one thing, and this is what I find amusing about DSA. They remind me of our current president. So our current president is known for his nickname Taco, which is an acronym for Trump always chickens out. I would suggest that DSA should have a similar nickname like Daco. DSA always chickens out. Because when it comes down to it, every time that they're in office and they have something that they believe in, they will chicken out on supporting it. They just defer to the Democrats, and the Democrats do not have the people in mind. DSA might, but DSA just defers to the Democrats. So what's the point?
Right. That's exactly my number one problem. My second thing is you hit it. Wait a minute, because Nelson's got my second point. Nelson, I'm telling you, we got to be related. My only issue with Mamdani is that he is too buddy with AOC and Bernie Sanders, but he does look like he will win. If I were in New York City, I would probably vote for him. If because New York is notorious, they're not running. There's no independent candidate running. Well, Technically, there is because Cuomo is running as an independent. Ha ha, he's not. But I'm just saying, if it's a 3-person race and those are the only 3 choices I got to go with Mandami. But again, that's my number 1 problem. Number 2, he's gone back on it. He's like really, really backtrack some of the things that I thought, yeah, I'm friend supported. I'm like, nah, you can't, no. And I don't know whether that's because he's trying to reach a broader voter base and he's going to stick to what he originally said, or is what he originally said was a lie?
I would say, and this is kind of typical in our 2-party system throughout the country, in the primaries, you tend to have less centrist policies that are pushed. So the Democratic primary would tend towards more progressive lefty ideals in the primary. And then when they go to the general election, they move to the right. The Republican Party does the same thing, where they tend to do things in the primary that sound completely super far right wing, and then they slightly move to the left when it comes to the general election because they don't want to look like extremists. That's right, the problem that we're running into.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, okay, here comes my next problem. Now, this one, I'm going to give Mandami a pass on. I didn't realize he's just 34 years old. Mm-hmm. I did not know that. That is very, very young. I kind of see where Cuomo was going when he said he's not experienced. He's not experienced. But because Cuomo is such a terrible politician, he's a sleaze bucket, dirt bag piece of garbage that deserves to be scooted off of a rug. How did they? I wonder how did he lose so bad? Because if you just look on it, if you just look at it on paper, Mandami was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was polling at 1%. 1%.
I'm not sure when he was at 1%. When it got close to the Democratic primary, he was very much polling well ahead, and he basically won the Democratic primary in a landslide. Everyone that I've talked to, including particularly union organizers in New York City, have been very supportive, and they tend to push his more leftist policies because they know that that's what the voters actually want. But since he won the Democratic primary, you have seen him repeatedly take steps to the right over and over again, presumably being pushed or pulled by Bernie Sanders more than anyone else. And that's disgusting. If Bernie Sanders was supposed to be a DSA person himself, which he's always claimed to be, and now he's busy pushing a DSA candidate away from DSA positions, you're a fraud, Bernie.
I don't think Bernie's watching this show, but
Bernie, why aren't you watching? If you were watching,
why isn't anybody watching? I mean, I'm on. And I know I didn't come on my regular day, but I'm still on. Oh, and by the way, I want to thank the Buffalo Bills. They just defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, I'm petty. Yes, I'm going to keep on being petty. I'm going to walk in my pettiness and be proud of it. Thank you. But anyway, that's what I'm like. Why are you running? You have the nomination, right? Why go back? Because I'm thinking you're going back. You're moving to the right. For what reason? Who's gonna beat you? Cuomo isn't. You're going to win unless they just ultimately fix this election. He's going to win. I don't see any way that he loses.
I agree, and that'll be.
So why go to the right when you don't have to? You don't have to go. You could go more to the left. That's what I would like to see. Like, go more to the left. You're going to win. Why go to the right? That's what's not making sense to me.
As far as I could tell, more than any other particular policy issue, it appeared as if APAC was stepping in from behind the scenes with money and making this push happen. I don't see anyone else that has the ability to somehow push him in a different direction. Now, the interesting thing is in the Democratic primary debate, when they were asking the various candidates what country they would go visit as soon as they won the mayoral
Oh yeah, I saw that.
position,
They all answer Israel. I'm like,
they all said Israel, and then they get to Mamdani, and he's like, "Well, I'm getting elected mayor of New York City, so I think I'm going to focus on the people of New York City here in New York City."
yeah, it was
And
like the most common sense answer, and they all got, I'm like, how, is y'all stupid? That, why? First of all, why the reporter would ask such an insane question in the first place? I got a question. If you're talking about, if that was a presidential debate, okay, I could understand it. That would make more sense to me, right? Or you're a United States senator. Okay, I could kind of understand it. But if you're mayor of a city, wouldn't you want to just stay in the city that you're the mayor of? And they all just got it wrong. They was just like, I visit Israel. And then Cuomo was like, so he said he wouldn't visit Israel. No, because he's mayor of New York City.
the problem is that the Democratic Party national, as well as the Republican Party national, are both very much under the thumb or control of Israel through APAC. It's quite clear that APAC is a lobbying arm of a foreign government, should be required to register as such, and is clearly pushing this country on behalf of Israel first, as opposed to America first. And the idea that this country is doing anything that's good for the US when it is supporting Israel is absolutely ludicrous. The biggest problem this country has, as far as foreign policy goes, is being friends with Israel. Israel is a corrupt, occupied nation that should not exist. The people who are in charge, including Netanyahu, who's from a suburb of Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, those people originally come from essentially Eastern Europe. And it seems to me, given that we've had a proxy war going on with Ukraine and Russia, and Ukraine has lost so many millions or hundreds of thousands of people, maybe the Israelis should move to Ukraine and let the Palestinians enjoy their own land.
You know, it was such an unusual debate question. And then their answers, one, they said it like I am standing on business. I'm just going to sit here and say, it was like, I don't know if you've ever watched this debate. It's one of the funniest debates I have ever watched. The Arizona gubernatorial debate with Trump's girl, Kathy Lake or Carrie Lake or whatever her name. Let me tell y'all something. Go back on YouTube and watch that. When I'm in a bad mood and I need cheering up, watch the whole thing. I mean, they were talking about mules carrying votes. Carrie Lake talking about it's whack. That debate was sort of like that because they sat there like they were just saying a normal answer. Like New York City doesn't have problems, that you're going to concentrate on Israel and not New York City. What? Like, how did they think that was going to go well?
For people who are from New York, it didn't seem remotely unusual that such a question would be asked.
I guess not, because
Because
I'm sitting here like,
the
that's like
largest
asking, what
the
country are
largest
you going to visit?
the largest
Indianapolis or
population of Jewish people outside of the nation of Israel is in New York City. And what we've found over the last couple of years plus is that they're not all Zionists. People initially thought that all of them would be Zionists and they all would be completely supportive of the genocide and the occupiers. But what they're finding is that a number of the particularly Ashkenazi Jews in New York City and Brooklyn in particular are particularly devout to the religion of Judaism, and they do not believe that they have a homeland in Israel. They do not believe that it's somehow promised to them in any way, shape, or form. They recognize that the Zionists have twisted and turned biblical stories. And even though they don't necessarily talk about their DNA not matching, they're just not interested in supporting the nation of Israel. They recognize it as a terrorist state.
I thought you was going to say the Nation of Islam. I'm like, huh? What? What? Huh? Wait a minute. But I think those are my problems. Here's another thing I want to discuss, and this will get a little bit to JFA. You know, that's New York City. Like I said, I don't have any skin in the game. But people seem to think this is going to lead to the Democratic Party waking up. I don't think it will, because I don't think the Democrats want to wake up. I'm going to play a clip, if I can find it on Facebook, that a friend of mine, she posted about what's happening with the SNAP. And I do want to talk about that. I promise y'all I will talk about the convention, but I want to talk about these things first. Of course, we know that a court has finally ruled that the Trump administration must use its reserves in order to fund SNAP. My question is, it takes $9 billion to run SNAP per year, and that fund only has $6 billion. Where's the other $3 billion coming from? This president has already proven he's a certifiable. Let me keep this as nice as I can. He's a certified evil piece of poop that deserves to be thrown out with the other pieces of poop in his party. We have, how can I say this where it's going to make sense? Because the clip says it better than me. I think one of the things we had to remember is we told people voting within a two-party system was going to get to where we are right now. Do I believe that if Harris was president, SNAP would be on the board being cut? Yes, I do.
It was already.
One, because we already know that Biden wanted to cut Biden cut Medicaid, cut Medicare, and was looking into cutting SNAP. Those are just facts. Y'all vote blue no matter who's. Y'all just need to deal with it. Do I think that there would have been ICE raids at the level they are now? No. But I think there would have been raids. Not in terms of Democratic cities, but I think ICE would have been doing what ICE was doing under the Biden administration. I still think families would have been separated. So I see that there's no difference, but somehow we have the vote blue no matter who team has used this to say, see, we told you. And I'm like, no, we told you that what was happening in Gaza was going to eventually make its way to the U.S. Look at what we're doing in Gaza, starving children. Now we're starving children here. Look at the way we've militarized Gaza. Now we're being militarized here in the United States.
We've been using the Israeli military forces, the IDF, to train our police forces in the U.S., including the New York City Police Department, and including Cop City that they're building down in Atlanta and all the other cop cities they've got planned around the country. The intention is clearly to make a far more militarized police force so that they can abuse the populace that much more. It appears that they are looking to promote starvation, and they are hoping that they are driving people out of the country to lower our population and apparently to make it whiter.
And that makes no sense, because if that's the goal, that's completely stupid, and I'll explain why. If people are poor, where the heck they going? They have no money to. You have to. If you're going to go, let's just say I'm going to Mexico. That's just where I decide I'm going to go. That's not free. I got to somehow get there. They just think people are just going to pick up and leave. It's not going to work like that.
You're right.
What I think they're going to work is they want to create more prisons.
Yes.
That's what I think, and so that and that's what I think is happening. Because to have people, well, it'd be more white people. White people would be the ones leaving. White people, they would get exactly the opposite of what they want. Because let's just say people start leaving the U.S. Well, white people have more money than like black people or brown people, so they would probably leave in larger. They stupid. Oh my gosh, they stupid. That doesn't even make sense to me. I'm like, okay, so people start leaving the country, they go to other countries. That makes the population lower, but then that makes, and I hate the word minority, I'll never use it, but that makes ethnic populations that's gonna rise, right? Because now there's not as many white. Am I making sense? Am I making any sense, y'all?
So if we take a look at the Constitution and the amendments that were passed post-Civil War, it's very clear that they left a loophole to continue slavery, and that loophole was prison labor.
Yep.
So there's absolutely no question, because they recognize that private prisons offer opportunities for people to make money. That's why they're being so abusive and rounding people up in the way that they are, because they are using the private prison industries to house all of these soon to be deported individuals that they're picking up. That's how people are making money. It's all about money. When they want to be cruel, it's all to make money. That's the horrible thing, is all of this is always profit driven. Why are we in Israel, or why are we supporting Israel for all this? Well, it's because they're stealing land. Once they've stolen the land, Trump's already said he wants Gaza to be a new Mediterranean resort.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me jump on that point, because I got a message for the white evangelicals that voted for him. Please point to me where the Bible, where that's at. Where that at? Because they're the ones, because they are Zionists to me. I call them evangelicals because they're not. If they were truly evangelical, they wouldn't be for this mess that was going on in Gaza. So I call them evangelical. Where that at? Where's that at that Israel's going to be a casino resort with Trump all over the island? Israel's not an island. But where? Point to it, because it ain't in there. I'm telling you.
This was a PR move that's been in place since essentially 1948, when the occupation was established post World War II, that they have consistently lied. Now let's talk about, they've consistently lied about the history. They literally are not telling you what the Bible says. They're saying this land of Israel. There's never been a land of Israel. There was a land of Jacob that was promised to Jacob, and Jacob's name became Israel. That's a person's name. It's not a piece of land. They talk about this kingdom of Israel, or this greater kingdom of Israel. There was a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom, and they took up the space of approximately Judea and Samaria, which is less than the space of modern day Israel is now, and far less than the proposals that Netanyahu continues to talk about when he speaks of a greater Israel that's going into Jordan and Assyria.
And parts of Africa. Don't forget that. He wants to liberate
Africa. Over to Egypt, right?
Oh, he's talking about Africa. He's not just talking about Egypt. He said Africa. Those are words that came out of his mouth.
I believe it, because prior to the establishment of the nation of Israel, the Zionists were looking at the Congo as an area to colonize. And they were specifically looking at the Congo because of its mineral resources being so beneficial. So it's not a big surprise that they're continuing to do what they're continuing to do.
And here's where Here's a question I know I'm going to ask Dr. West. We've been, I don't know, did you go to the No Kings rally? I don't think you went. You've been to one.
I have not been to one. The most recent one that they had was the same day as the food pantry that I volunteer with, and therefore I wasn't able to go.
I've been to one, and I know people are going to say it's a Democrat. It is. It is. However, we've done that. We've called. We've done everything we do and we can do. And this administration just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I wonder how much fight we have left in us, because it's a hard thing. Like, I think about what's going on in Indiana, and our governor flat out, Indiana has, for you all don't know, Indiana has a $4 billion surplus. That's billion with a B. And one of the things that the governor could do, he doesn't have to call a special session, which he's doing because Trump told him to redistrict Indiana, which already has 11 seats and 9 of them are held by Republicans, but he wants, of course, all 11. But anyway, he could release funds to fund those that won't be getting SNAP benefits, and has just outright, flat out said, no, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
We can't remove Indiana's not a ballot initiative state. We can't sign petitions to get this nitwit out of office.
It's worth pointing out that the federal courts have required the federal government to provide SNAP benefits, so they are going to be delayed because the court ruling was delayed until, I don't know, around Halloween. So they, or possibly even, probably Halloween, because that would have been Friday. So they will have the SNAP benefits coming out in November, but they will be delayed. But when it comes down to it, they're now talking about getting rid of the it's not the filibuster, the whatever they call it, where they need 60 votes. They say
that's the filibuster.
That's the filibuster. So they're getting ready to get rid of the filibuster so that they can reopen the government. And it's like, you could have done this on day one. There was never a question that you could fire the parliamentarian and open by simple majority. You chose to close down the government. You chose to fire people. You chose to cause problems by cutting SNAP and Medicaid. These are all intentional things, and you did so with the intention of trying to point fingers at the other party.
And trust me, we're not letting the Democrats off the blame train, because they're a strongly worded letter is what they're gonna write. Let me tell you something about them letters. See, I'm gonna just tell you what I could do, and I'm gonna finally get to my last topic, because I didn't realize we've been talking 48 minutes, but these are such good topics. Let me tell you about what I would do if I'm the minority speaker of the House, because they use the word minority. I already said I don't like that word, but that's what Hakeem Jeffries' title is. He's the minority House leader. I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to start it off, dear ugly face. You was first of all, I would go into the meeting in that little hat talking about Trump 2028. I'd knock it off the table and be like, now we can talk. That's the first thing I would do. Second thing, I would have wrote a letter. Like, dear comb over, orange face idiot. Who are you going to have read this to you? Because you cannot read. You do not have any comprehension skills. What we're going to do, and the Democrats have the funds to do this. They're a $1 billion organization. They have the ability to send canvassers out, go door to door to door to door in communities. They could do it all over the country. But if they want to be smart and just like go to communities that are affected by this and go to the rural communities, they have enough money to do it. Heck, they could run commercials. Not doing that. But I'd be like, look, what we're going to do is act a fool. Keep on acting a fool. We're going to send canvassers out. We're going to put commercials. We're going to go into communities and tell people what you're doing to them. We'll see you in 2026 when we take this over, and we're going to make it hard. We're not going to pass nothing you do. I don't care if it's to make crayons safer. We are not passing anything that you run. You can try to delay the elections all you want. We're going to take over this piece, and we're going to do something. The end. Tracy Carson, Minority House Speaker. Because these little strongly worded letters, nah, they ain't strong enough.
Here's the thing. It's very clear that Trump, much of his foreign policy is being dictated by the guy from Philadelphia that occupies Palestine. Hakeem Jeffries takes money and therefore orders from the same people.
Same people.
He is run by AIPAC, the same way that Trump is run by AIPAC, or
The
if
same
you
way
want to say
Harris
it,
is run by AIPAC.
Netanyahu, right? Netanyahu
And
runs them all, and Schumer.
And that's what frustrates me. It's like when I tell people that, oh, but they're not as bad. Not as bad is not going to save Palestinian children. Not as bad isn't going to put food on Americans' table. Not as bad isn't going to be any type of response for the hundreds of thousands of people that just got laid off. I don't care if you think the Republicans are terrible. Yes, they are. But the Democrats are terrible too. Stop voting for these people. Stop it. Stop doing it. It don't make no sense. Y'all keep on voting for the same people. So we're going to get different results. No, you won't. I still contend the Democrats want to lose. They don't want to win. They don't act like they don't want to win. When is the next election? 2026, right? This is November 2025. So they got basically a year. What have they done? What, like, name me anything that they've done. Like anything. Anything.
Let's see. There was Cory Booker stood around and talked for a day and change, and presumably had a catheter in while he was having his conversation so that he could be there for 25 hours. But yeah, he wasn't even speaking about a bill. It was pointless. His entire talk was just entirely pointless, made for TV garbage. He did nothing worthwhile.
And people will still go in there and vote these people, and then y'all complain. See, some of this stuff, I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna be popular. The views that I express are not that of the Justice for All party, but sometimes I think that's just what we get, because we, not us to the left, but we Americans will vote for the same idiots and be like, well, they're not doing nothing. Because you keep voting them in. If you threaten them with your vote and vote in somebody else, I guarantee the next time they're going to be like, oops, well, they voted me out this time.
That's the thing about this 2026 election, particularly with all of the gerrymandering that's going on from Texas to California to Indiana to Florida, etc., is they're going to take congressional districts that previously were solidly Democrat or solidly Republican, and they're going to turn them into coin flip territories. And if the Justice for All party is able to put together strong candidates in those particular districts, there is entirely the possibility that the Justice for All party could suddenly become a difference maker in Congress.
No. See, I'm
although I would suggest that may not happen, because even if we got, say, 10 or 20 candidates in Congress across the country, my expectation is you would see a new era of bipartisan relationships between the Republican and Democratic parties, so that they could get around any of the Justice for All initiatives.
I'm going to disagree with you slightly. First of all, I don't run to lose. I don't run to get 10%. I don't run to get 20%. I'm running to get 100% of the vote. That's why I'm not running, but I'm saying this to Justice for All candidates. You don't need 100% to win an election. You could literally win an election with 38%. Why not go for that, right? I don't want to get in the race of, well, we could get that 5%. Oh my gosh. I always wanted to punch people. Like like verbally punch people for saying that, because that's just like, you're just, to me, you're setting yourself up for losing. So I would frame it as, we're gonna go in there and win some of these races. Right? Now, could that happen? Yes. Could it not happen? Yes. But you don't know until you run. I think if a Justice for All candidate makes enough noise, does the on the ground organizing and canvassing and door to door knocking, because that's what it's going to take, because we don't got enough money. And if you listening, go to justiceforall.us/donate. We do that. We could turn some heads around. Because first of all, when you're voting for a Justice for All candidate, you're getting a candidate that does not take APAC money.
Right.
You're getting a candidate that is not entitled to big pharma, big tech, big banks, anything with big in it.
You're getting a candidate that believes in truth and tries to lead with love.
Exactly. And demands justice. That's the way I want to see us run. Because this whole, well, they're going to work bipartisan. They already work in a bipartisan level. You know, I know all this talk about we got too many wars, and they all vote, except for the very few. They vote to increase the military. I still can't name a legislator that has voted against the military's budget. Maybe I'm just like, well, who was it? Who was it? People said Barbara Lee, but I think even she voted to increase the military's budget. Heck, AOC took an absent vote, which I think that's cowardly. Like, you there, why you gonna vote absent? You sitting right there. Like, take a stand. And side note, who told Marjorie Taylor Greene to be right about stuff? Who? Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, wait a minute. Go back to your racism. Like, go back to that. Because this, I'm like, wait a minute. She making sense.
Do you actually want to know who told her to be right about things?
Her constituents.
Her constituents. The Republicans in her district called her up and said, hey, all this crazy nonsense that the taco in the White House believes in, it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us very bad.
Timothy,
when it hurts us, we're going to get rid of you. And she's like, oh.
I'm like, I know that's why. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. When Marjorie Taylor Greene is right about Gaza, and I'm sitting here agreeing with her, something wrong. Y'all, something's right, because she's taking the right stand. But I'm just sitting here like, what? Huh? What?
I think that part of what that's showing us is what the media does not tell us, is that this nation has very much turned the corner and become anti-Israel. We no longer support the occupation. We no longer support the genocide. We no longer support this higher tier of citizenship that white people get by living in Israel, as opposed to in the US or Europe, where they're somehow afforded free health care and access to education for college, all that.
I wish we had free health care, but it costs too much, says the man that said, well, Medicare for all comes to my desk, I'll veto it. Shut up. Ooh. The fact that Democrats are doing nothing about what Republicans are doing proves that they are complicit with what is being done. Thank you, Nelson, which means they're completely guilty. Before moving on to our final subject of the evening, I do want to make a point about the Congressional Black Caucus. Is y'all ever gonna say anything about what's happening in Gaza? Ever? Like, ever? I didn't realize that APAC flies in presidents of historical Black colleges to Israel. I did not know this. I'm like, are you bleeping kidding me?
If you look at Black churches throughout the United States, a good deal of them, particularly if they have an older congregation, tend to be Zionist oriented, because they somehow believe that if you support Israel, you support God and Jesus. I don't know how that makes any sense.
It doesn't make a lick of sense. Because I was talking to my sister about this. I'm like, why hasn't the Black church said anything? Nothing. Just crickets. Just crickets. I'm like, are you gonna say anything?
And all I can go back to is when I think about Israel, I think about it as an apartheid state. And I grew up during the time when apartheid South Africa was being talked about in the news constantly. That's what, if you were anybody, that's what you cared about. You had musicians from across the world that were all getting together and saying they're not going to play Sun City. Well,
and I can't stand with a person, and I try to respect my elders that just they will not criticize Israel. I'm like, that's odd because I know somebody who criticized Israel. Let me see. His name starts with a J. He was mostly in that New Testament. What was his name? Rhymes with Beezus? Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, him. So you gonna tell him he can't? You gonna tell him? Good luck with that, sir, madam. Good luck with that.
I don't understand how you can all be Christians and you can be essentially against Jesus's family. Like, that's who the Palestinians are. That's all of the descendants of the people that were there. That's
like he's from Palestine. He's Palestinian. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to tell you. Let me play this. I'm gonna try to play this, and I hope you guys can hear it. Because this person says sometimes I don't say what I want in the right way. And then we will finally talk about the convention because I got some ideas. Our meeting is this Wednesday because we didn't meet today. We normally would have met today, but because I was at the wedding yesterday, I was like, I got to do this podcast. But I want to play this clip. Okay, I hope I can share this. And my 2 Monday show, because I will be podcasting tomorrow, we are talking about universal basic income and why it is not the answer. Wow, is all I got to say because it's going to be a really good show. So let me see if I can.
I'm guessing you've got a special guest coming in to speak on
I do have. Paul Rubin is going to be back with us for the 3rd time, but
Fantastic.
We're specifically talking about universal basic income.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so guys, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Can you see? What do you see?
I see a woman and she's not talking yet, and there's a bunch of writing above her.
Okay, got it. So you're seeing the screen I see. Okay, good.
How could they cut SNAP? How could they cut SNAP? You let Palestinians starve. We told you whatever you let them do in our name with our tax dollars, they are going to do to us. You're wondering why the Gestapo is in the fucking street. Like, you're wondering why black people are fucking getting targeted by ICE in general. You're wondering why they're willing to starve us, but you were willing to starve people too. You all don't give a fuck unless it is affecting you, even though we told you that this was going to be the result. And then to the people who are like, well, you got to get offline, I'm offline. People give about as many fucks as you would expect in real life. They just don't cuss you out when you're talking to them about it. They might listen to you. They might empathize with you. Oh, I do care about Palestine. And then do fuck nothing, including not even talking to another person about it, which would be like, honestly, the best thing they could do. Next, when fucking COVID surges up again, when a new version of COVID surges up again that starts killing people again, I don't want to hear shit. You all will let people starve, die, etc., succumb to disease that is preventable all over the globe, and be shocked when it reaches you.
Wow.
See, now that person said minus the cousin, said everything that I wanted to say. Everything I wanted to say. Well said, madam. Well said. Because that's the point. This is the point to people that say I have this fake outrage for Gaza. No, because I get it. What they're doing in Gaza is what's going to happen to us. And lo and behold, it's happening. And it wouldn't make a difference whether it was the Harris administration, because they were doing ICE raids. Believe it, yeah, I know. Shocking, right?
Well, it's interesting because I know you're familiar with another podcaster who likes to focus on the Black American community that he's part of and that he cares about, and that's wonderful. But unfortunately, he's been kind of saying, if they're not doing this to the Black American community, why should we care? And what he's starting to see is that he had gained a bunch of new subscribers and money, and those have probably gone away at the same time that they're beginning to attack the Black community in ways that they hadn't previously been with ICE.
Does he have a color in his name?
You know who we're talking about.
Does he? That's a yes or no question. Does he have a color
yes.
in his name? Okay, then I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, I'm like, dude, you can't see it. We're not free until everybody is free. That goes for white people, Black people, Puerto Ricans, Hispanic, everybody. We're not free. And until people get, okay, if they're going to do that, guys, they're going to do it to you, and they're doing it. And she said it is way better than I could. It's like, why are you surprised? If they're willing to do it to the Gazans, they're going to do it to you.
Absolutely.
Last topic, I said I was going to make this topic more, but since I'm going to talk about this a whole month, everybody knows that the Justice for All Party has our first convention assembly coming up June 10th, June 11th, June 12th, in the lovely city of Columbus, Ohio. And we are now, let me tell you something about the convention. I am on the convention committee, planning committee. We have had, I think we're moving at the speed that we should be. We have secured our hotel location. It's going to be at the Junto Hotel, of course, in the lovely city of Columbus, Ohio. But now we are to the point where we're starting to wonder what sessions that we have. So this is going to be pretend time in terms of what it is we want to see. Now, of course, I know what I want. But this is the time for anybody that's watching. If you got any suggestions, we're going to have a schedule, we think, that first week of January. We may have this is who we want, this is who we're going to invite, and et cetera, et cetera. So my question to you, Tim, since you're not on the committee, what is it that you want to see? I mean, and we know the goal, before you answer, the goal of the convention / assembly is to approve our bylaws. That's the main thing that we have to do. But besides that, well,
my expectation is that there would be a somewhat limited amount of sessions that are set aside specifically for dealing with party business as required, which would be a general session where everybody is essentially all together, and they're saying, okay, we're passing these bylaws, we're passing this platform, we're anything like that. That's just kind of consensus driven party business that has to be dealt with. I would say, in addition to that, I fully expect that we will have some time for socializing or fellowship outside of the various workshops or sessions that are being done. And I imagine that we probably would have some session or sessions that would be based upon things like how to run a campaign, how to move a campaign forward, how to do some community-based organizing, petition drives, that kind of stuff. Because at the time of the convention in June, we should expect that congressional candidates around the country will largely be finishing their primaries for both the Republican and Democratic parties. And at that time, they'll begin their preparation for the general elections coming up in November. So we would be trying to place our candidates in the same position where they're preparing for the general elections come November, where we can take our seats.
We are on two totally different pages, as usual. I want to have fun. I know that the bylaws say we have to do X, Y, Z, and X, Y, Z is what we're going to do. But I want to have sessions such as how to punch the Democratic and Republican parties in the face. Like, just take your fist and just punch, just do that. Because I'm tired. I'm so tired of losing. It got on my nerves. It got on my nerves. I want to know how to win. How in the tarnation can we win when we don't got a lick of money? And of course, you can go to
sure
Justice.
Those are the same sessions that I was suggesting.
I know, but I'm just going. You're being way too. I'm like, nah, punch them in the face. Punch them in the face. Metaphorically, we don't know. We do not condone violence. But I can announce this one. We will be having a ladies only murder mystery party. Yes, that's right, ladies. You will that's sponsored by yours truly. We're gonna have a ladies only. It won't be virtual because we are doing hybrid. So there will be the general sessions will be hybrid, but there will be some that will not be hybrid. You're gonna have to actually get up. I know this is gonna be a stretch for some of y'all, but you're gonna have to get up and actually come to Columbus, Ohio, because we plan on entertainment. We plan on, of course, socializing, because this will be the first time I've seen some people in person. Mm-hmm. Paris is usually the only person I've ever seen in person.
Sure.
So this is going to be my first time. Like, if you plan on coming, I know what you look like, but that'll be my first time, ever setting eyes on you, in the flesh, where I can touch you.
Sure.
And say,
well, I wouldn't promise you can touch me, but you know
what I meant. Boy, if you don't say that, see, and I call everybody boy or girl. So I don't be I don't use it in a racist term. I just call everybody I know. Either I'm going to say girl bye or boy bye. Don't matter what race they are. So boy bye. I want to fence, but I want to see you. I want to see you. Oh, you do have a lower half. Oh, okay. I think it's going to be a great convention. I would obviously love Dr. West to address the convention. And I know some people are like, it's an assembly. Shut up. You shut up. It's a convention. But I would love Dr. West to be able to address this. That would be just wonderful. I also, if I'm just putting together my dream team list, I would love to have Dr. Barber. Fantastic. You're talking about somebody that knows how to motivate people and to get people active. Not that Dr. West can't do it, because he is a part of the party. No matter what other people say, he did found the party. He did found the party. He is one of the party founders. For people that he's not popular. Bye. because I could go off on that, but I won't. But I think a Dr. Barber, somebody with his, just him, just like he's got something that Dr. West doesn't have, and I can't like really define it. Like I know what it is, but I can't be like, oh, well, he can do this. Where Dr. West is an intellectual and is a philosopher, Dr. Barber is like, he's that take it to the streets person. And that's why I can connect. Not that I don't connect to Dr. West, I do. But I can connect more with Dr. Barber because he's like that, oh, this is practically what you can do. You can do this, this, and this. Where Dr. West is going to see it in a more as a philosopher. If that's making any sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's always a little tension between philosophers and organizers. They both tend to believe in the same things, but one is very much about being in your head and the other is very much about being on the streets.
Yes, we need in the streets people. And I don't think Dr. West would disagree with that.
No, he wouldn't.
But, if I'm also just throwing out people, I would love Nina Turner to be there. Just because she's she's like one of the two Democrats. I only respect two Democrats, like two. Her and Charles Booker. Those are like the only two. I'm like, yep, those are the only two I have respect for. Anybody else, no, not as much.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Miss Nina Turner lives in Ohio, right?
She surely does. Oh, she surely does. So when Dr.
It would
West
seem like she's probably heard of the Justice for All Party through a colleague somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. So I'm like, hey, Dr. West, why don't you ask her, can she be there? I'm in shock because I don't know. Now, who would you? Okay, because I know who I don't want.
Who's that?
I don't want to see a Nan Democrat. I'm eating chocolate because my blood sugar is a little low. So yeah, pardon me, but if I see Ann Democrat, I'm gonna go unless they just want to convert, because we do take converts. But then you gotta vote for get out my face. Get out of my face. Don't sit down. Go somewhere and sit down.
Well, as things stand now, my understanding is that you've gotten unofficial offer that hasn't yet been verified, that you've got a DJ and sound system showing up to.
Oh yeah, we sure do. Talk about that. Please talk about that.
Assuming that everything goes correctly, it sounds like I'll be coming up in person to bring sound systems that should be able to cover at least 3 breakouts at a time. And of course, we'll be able to pull that all together for whatever type of socialization that we need to do. So at some point, we'll be putting together a new Justice for All Party playlist, aside from the one that was put together for Dr. West's campaign last year.
Because I want to say something that I have food in my mouth. Also, this podcast, I know people get mad at me for calling it the unofficial podcast, but that's what it is, y'all. It's unofficial. It's the official, unofficial, official podcast of the party.
I think I know where you're going with this.
The podcast is going to be there.
The podcast is going to be there and going to be broadcasting a live session.
Yes. Yes. The Justice is Here podcast will be there all 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I don't know how many sessions I will get to attend, because I'm going to be planning on sitting out there, be like, hey, you come here. So I have a lot to do. And only because I'm chair of the committee, but bringing the podcast is an extra responsibility, but it's one that I want to do.
Absolutely.
So I will be there. in the capacity of the Justice is Here podcast will be in the building and do it that way. So I'm just looking forward to this. This is one of the few things that I can say I'm really excited about this convention.
That's fantastic. I'm excited, and I know it's a growing excitement that will be increasing all the way up until June as we continue to push for the formation of parties in the states across the country, as well as hopefully bring candidates on board across the country to represent the Justice for All Party in our 2026 elections.
So when you all go to work and you get that paycheck, or however it is you make your money, put aside, do what I've done. I went and got a chime card. And every time I get paid, I put a little bit aside and I'm saving it. Because Tracy, I'm not going to drive. I've already made up my mind. I will fly. Because I can't. Yeah, it's only 3 hours away. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I can't stay awake. I have problems staying awake when I drive that long. So I'm already know I'm going to fly. Now I do, and this is convention related. I will be traveling to the Jinto Hotel November the 7th, which is not this week, next week.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. It's this Friday. I will be traveling to Columbus, Ohio to see the hotel in person. I may go live from the hotel to show people what it looks like.
Sounds like a plan.
mean, but I'm just super, super, super excited. When we started this process, we knew it was going to be an undertaking because the expectation is high. And we hope that what we're planning meets that expectation. We're going to have sponsors and vendors and a digital program booklet. So I know some people are like, I don't want to go. You got 219 days. You have enough time to save enough money to come to Columbus.
It's interesting because I haven't heard, and maybe it's because I'm not having those conversations, but I haven't heard a single person say that they're not interested in going yet.
Oh, and I have.
Curiously, because on social media, and I try to stay active on social media with Justice for All Florida, particularly on TikTok. I'm forever putting things in the comments with the variety of different websites. And it was interesting because I had somebody respond saying, hey, I think I want to go to that convention in June. And I'm like, really? And it was just a kind of random connection that I happen to have on social media that mentioned it. And they're based down in Texas. So I was like, you know what? If you want to get involved before the convention, I got people to talk to in Texas.
Yeah, get involved before, during, and after.
Right.
Before, during, and after. We're going to have a fantastic time. Like I said, when Dr. West comes on the 16th, like, hey, Dr. West, now look, we got this convention coming up. We would really like you to be in person, like be there. If not all 3 days, at least one day, because I know his schedule. He has a tight schedule, but there are 219 days until I get to see most of you in person. It's going to be great. I never thought that I would be at this point where we're planning a convention for a party. I just thought, this is over. I'm done. We're not done. We just got started.
One of the things that I'm hoping that we will see, and time will tell, is I'm hoping that we have a wide variety of candidates that do step forward for the party, that will include names that nationwide, and names that you don't know of people who are on the ground doing work in their communities. So that it's not just the talking heads that you've heard of, but it's people who are doing on the ground work, representing the same ideals that Justice for All Party has always represented.
And final announcement about the convention. I have figured out what I'm going to do. So we attempted to, and I thought it went really well considering we had a talent show.
Mm-hmm.
And some groups were going to show up, but they didn't. Shame on you. Shame. No, I'm joking because things happen. They always happen. But I was going to have and I'm still going to do this on my birthday is January the 4th. I'm telling you now, I will be 52 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to throw some type of fundraiser on the 3rd. So mark your calendars, January the 3rd. There will be some type of talent show. In the meantime, what I will also do is I am going to gather all of my relatives. And we are going to have a karaoke night.
Okay.
And that karaoke night will be a fundraiser for the convention.
Nice.
So, and we will be broadcasting that karaoke on this channel.
I heard a rumor, and it's just a rumor, it hasn't been confirmed, that an inflatable frog might be doing some of the DJing while we're there at the convention.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we might have a frog.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but we might have the inflatable frog coming in to DJ.
Hopefully a duck can show up too. That'd be good.
Ooh, okay. I remember when you were at the rally a couple weeks ago where you saw a bunch of chickens.
I saw chickens, ducks, and a dog.
Okay. But I entirely would not be surprised if we see a variety of different inflatable costumed activists while we're there.
Exactly. So guys, like I said, get yourself a chime. I'm not advertising for a chime, but I'm saying if you have a job, every time you get paid, put a little aside and don't touch it. Don't do like me and dip into, don't do that. Put it aside. And I'm telling you, you will not regret coming to this convention. You will not regret it. But January the 3rd, I have decided for my birthday, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do a karaoke show. I've already told my family it's going to be $20 for them to attend. I'm asking each of them for a $20 donation. It's going to go to the convention. And you can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of me making it. You can sponsor your own karaoke and invite your friends and tell them, hey, the convention committee is trying to raise $100,000 because we want as many people as possible to come. So I'm
going to throw one other thing out here when we're talking about, as long as we're talking about fundraisers. If you're here in the state of Florida with me and you're looking to do a fundraiser for either a Justice for All candidate or the Justice for All party in some way, shape, or form, reach out to me and I will bring a sound system for your event gratis.
And Tim will have his own fundraising event.
At some point.
At some point. We would hope within the next couple of weeks. But that is what I have decided to do. Yes, I broke the woman's rule and I told you how old I'm going to be because I'm just going to keep getting older and older and older and older. That's okay. But that is what I'm going to do. We'll be live. We're going to have a whole lot more. We have the house party is coming back January the 24th, where we're asking people to throw house parties across the nation like we did for the campaign. And then we have a comedy show the 17th of February.
Okay.
So we've got them right behind each other.
Is the comedy show going to be done online only, or will there be an in-person version?
That will only be virtual. Huh. So those that buy their tickets, they'll get a Zoom link. And because I thought, wait a minute, I know comics. I have comics as friends. Why don't I just ask them, can they do this for me? And they all agreed.
Are your comics all in the same city, or are they all across the country?
Two of them, well, they travel all over the country, but I think they're all Indiana based.
Wow. it would be interesting, and I don't know that it's possible, if you managed to have an in-person venue that you streamed so that people had both options.
That costs money. And we're trying to raise money, not spend money.
Maybe, or maybe it's done at a comedy club and they're more than happy to host it as a fundraiser. I don't know. Just thinking out loud.
Yeah, no, I think one of them is in Atlanta. But I know Donald Martin, that's the person who I contacted. I was like, can you give me 3 comics?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yep, and I'll be one of them. Funny guy. You will love him. He's more Christian-based comedy, but you're still going to love him. He's really funny. He's been on my podcast before. But yeah, we're not taking anything for granted. We literally are not taking anything for granted. And I'll be talking about this more and more and more, but mostly for the November the 14th and 15th, we absolutely need contestants for the virtual scavenger hunt. Let me put that up here. We have 0 participants. I cannot host those shows. I mean, I'll come on here, but we need contestants for the 14th, which will be 80s trivia. And then the 15th will be the virtual scavenger hunt. Get on there and sign up. I'm going to leave that up there for a while so you can get a pencil and a pen and sign up for it. If you're on the national list, you'll get that link tomorrow. You'll get one the 7th and the 8th and the 9th and the 10th. We need as many contestants. We would love to have 12 total, but we'll take what we can get. We're going to have a lot of fun. And that weekend we will end with Dr. West being our guest. Won't play any games with him because last time I talked football, he had that glazed look in his eyes. I'm like, he really don't know everything. Okay.
You got to talk Coltrane.
Yeah, but I was like, and then the football game, and did you see how I was going in. I was like, did you see how the defense played? And they used that 4-man front, and then what they did. I was going in. It was like, yeah, I'll let you talk about that. I was like, okay, sure, talk about something else. But I just figured he knows so much. I'm like, well, he knows so much. He'll naturally know what I'm talking about. No clue. None. He was like, I'll let you talk about that. I was like, oh, okay. Well, see, what they was doing was they was playing that 4-man front. That's when this player, and this player, they all line up. And then y'all don't want me to do that. But please sign up for that. We are going to have, and I'm a child of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sign up for it and you can wear something 80s, Tim, I plan on
I don't know. What do I have 80s?
I plan on finding a pair of like colored sunglasses with just the rim and like put my hair like one of those spiked up ponytails.
I was just thinking about a sweatsuit and some shell toes.
Yeah, because it's head up. So I'm like, nope,
Right.
I'm taking my hair.
Yeah,
you're not gonna see anything. That's all. I was like, okay, I'll put my hair in a big old ponytail or a scrunchie. That's what I'm really trying to find is a scrunchie and a pair of glasses.
Well, let's see. If we're trying to do a hairstyle, I'd have to go with was it House Party 2 or House Party 3 when Kid had his locks up in his stovetop?
I only watched House Party 1 because that movie was ridiculous. None of them people looked like they was in high school. I'm like, y'all know y'all too old.
Right, but you remember Kid from Kid and Play that he initially had for House Party 1 the stovetop fade. And I want to say by 2 or 3 he had locked up his hair, so he still had the
I only watched 1. That's the only one I watched. 1. I didn't waste my time with 2 through 18. I just dropped off. I'm like, nope, I only need to see this one.
Next thing you're gonna say is you don't know how to do the dance where you're doing the partner and tapping your toes and
me and dancing. I don't dance. I don't. Yep, I have no rhythm. I know. I'm being all the stereotypes. I can't
play. Come on.
Nope. And I'm telling you now, I'm leaning in heavily to pop culture. We will have some politics, and I might do a book giveaway. But if you could definitely sign up for that, I would greatly appreciate that, because we need as many contestants as we can get.
It sounds like if we could get any of our viewers who are watching this episode.
Yes, that's why I'm leaving it up there. That's why I'm leaving it up there so long, because I want some of our viewers that are watching to take that address down, go there and sign up. The deadline is the 10th.
I fully expect that Nelson will be participating, right?
I would hope so, because I don't know what Nelson looks like. I just know Nelson has been a great supporter of this show. That would be great if he could participate. But I think he said he lurks in the shadows.
I'm perfectly happy if he came on with like a hood covering up his identity.
Yep. So that's why I'm leaving that address up there so long.
That'd be fantastic if he came in looking like a Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, Ghost from Christmas Past, and had the hood on that totally covered him and just pointed.
The 80s was the MTV generation when they showed music videos with Max Headroom. You just gave me a trivia question. So, yes, this show went on way longer than I thought, because I thought an hour. Join me tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be interviewing Paul Rubin. He's been on the show talking about monetary theory, but I mentioned they have this meeting every Tuesday where we kind of meet and listen. And they were talking about how universal base income is not the answer. I always thought it was. So we're going to have a very, very interesting discussion tomorrow. That is at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, join us on November the 8th for the Saturday show. It is back with the topic, best educational TV shows of my generation. And then, of course, we'll be hitting November the 8th. We will have a Justice for All podcast. No slated guest yet. So I will, of course, be talking about the convention because I don't have a guest. But that's okay. I said I would do this show if I had to go by myself. So we'll do that. Thank you, Tim, for coming on such short notice.
It's my pleasure. And it's one of those things for the viewers. You should know by now that when I'm going to be a guest on the show, when you see me pop up, it's going to go long.
But not this long. This is almost 2 hours. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to do the outro. And we will see you when we see you, which is hopefully tomorrow.
You're going to keep walking in truth, justice, and love.
Yes, continue to walk in truth, justice, and love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening, everybody.